were in the 3 different areas of the Dominican Republic when we arrived. We arrived in San Pedro de Macorís. That was our first area that we ministered in, and worked with my college friend Allie Hodges Hale and her husband Gary in their church that they planted there almost 10 years ago. We then went to Santiago and ministered in a little girls' school in a village called La Vega. Daystar Ministries in San Pedro has actually been on the island for many years. My friend Allie's parents were missionaries before she was there, and she went back to the island after she got married and continues to work with this mission. They have a church that they have established. They have a Christian school that they have started. There's also a girls' orphanage and a boys' orphanage, and specifically there is a safe house in the area for ladies that have been rescued from the streets of the Dominican Republic. There's a lot of stories. I wish I could share every one of them with everyone. But the ladies' conference in San Pedro was the one big event that was first on our list. We spent a couple days preparing, just doing the stuff that you normally would for any ladies' conference, folding the napkins and the tableware, and just making things look nice. The telephone lines were down for days, so they had no idea how many ladies were going to come to the conference. And by the time Saturday rolled around and the conference was ready to start, over 300 women came into this building. And you have to understand there's no air conditioning, there's no breeze at all, and it was 90 degrees and it was hot, and the ladies had to carry their chairs from one section to another outside to have our different workshops. But the joy that was there was evident. You could tell, even with the language barrier, that they were happy to be there. They were rejoicing. Every time they sang a song, it was full of joy and just appreciation and the power of an awesome God. And the middle session was probably the most exciting session to be a part of. The guest speaker, who's from Tennessee, said that she could, as she was speaking to the ladies, could see just the Holy Spirit drop conviction, in different areas. And she said it went across the entire room, and we were standing on the outside. There was no room for me to even be inside the building. And over 200 women during that session responded when the invitation was open and fell on their face before the Lord, and they were calling all of us in to come pray, and even those of us who couldn't speak in Spanish were praying with women that we couldn't respond to, but that God knew what their need was. And it was a really exciting thing to be a part of.
This was my first trip outside the country, and getting into the Dominican, it was very different from anything I expected. I walked off a cold plane into like 90-degree weather, and it was so hot. And so once we got there, we took a bus and we drove to our hotel, and the driving there was crazy. People were on motorcycles and coming up next to the buses and honking at you and yelling at you. And so my favorite part of first getting there is if you said hola to somebody, they would go off into Spanish and be like, "Oh, you speak Spanish?" And you're like, no, I don't speak Spanish. So it was a good first trip out of the country. My favorite part about being there was going to the girls' school in La Vega and seeing how happy they were for being in as much poverty as they're in, but they're so happy in worshiping God. I would definitely love to go back soon, very soon.
Control, never looking back. I surrender all. I'm living for your glory on the earth. This passion in my heart, this stirring in my soul, to see the nations bow, for all the world to know I'm living for your glory on the earth. For the sake of the world. For the sake of the world, burn like a fire in me, light a flame in my soul for every eye to see. For the sake of